Hey everybody, welcome to Imaging USA. We're in the Whcc booth with Adam Stagner, so thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about your business, because you've got a very interesting style of doing business, interesting location. Just fill in everybody that's watching along today who you are and what you do.
Sure. Yeah, so my name is Adam Stagner. I'm a landscape photographer. My main niche is probably waterfalls, and it's my favorite thing to go photograph. As far as the business model, I basically structured a little 150 square foot gallery in Cool Springs Galleria Mall out in Franklin, Tennessee, and it displays all of the metal prints, which is by far my favorite medium to print on. I have canvas in there, paper prints as well, but the metal prints are definitely by far my biggest seller and what I like to print on the most, and that's the model that I've got so far. Yeah.
It's super cool. You showed me that video last night of your space. So you've created the 150 square foot kiosk in the mall, but it's all enclosed. So you have your artwork on the inside and the outside, and your office in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is...
So I made an art studio, but office space all in one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's super cool, because I think a lot of times people think that, to have a studio or to have a location, it has to be huge, to be profitable and to be efficient. And you've taken a relatively small space and made a very successful business out of that. So did that come about by accident, or was that your plan?
No, I actually stumbled across another gallery here in Nashville that had these in the mall, and when I noticed that, it just clicked, and that was the idea that I was like, okay, I like this setup, but let's take it a step further and do something a little more fine art, something of quality, and not just random postcard images, more on the fine art side of things. And yeah, after seeing that, I said, well, what do I got to do to get one of these in here? And so I approached them all and talked with them about it, and one thing led to another, and the business started. So a year and a half of doing this, and hopefully many, many more.
That's so cool, because then you don't have to carry this tremendous amount of overhead, and you have the exposure of everybody walking through. I think that's awesome. So last night we had the honor of hanging out, having a little fun in downtown Nashville. You were telling me about a trip that you took, and you went all the way to the West Coast and all the way back, and you did a ton of miles in a very short number of days. Now tell us how you plan that, because as a landscape photographer, obviously you have certain places, waypoints that you want to do. What does a trip like that look like for you? Because I'm guessing that you're doing that a lot to generate new images.
I wish it was more. I definitely wish it was more. And that's why I probably travel as much as I do in that short amount of time, is to get and cram as many places in that I can on a trip. And I'm not much of a planner. I don't like to have a plan. I like the free roam of just going. But yes, typically I have one destination that's my bucket list, my goal place that I want to get to, and then try to find a lot of places along that route to hit for sunrises, sunsets, and literally I might just be there for a couple hours. It's not like I'm going to these places and staying for days at a time. I'm getting to the one location, taking those shots that I wanted, and then on to the next one.
And when you were doing that, were you staying in, the finest hotels and eating at the finest restaurants along the way?
Hopefully one day. No, so back in, I guess 2012, I've got an old 2004 CRV, and I gutted the back seats out of that, and then built a bed frame and put a futon mattress in the back. So when we're not Airbnb and staying, maybe we had a location where we couldn't work it out, I just stay in the car, sleep in the car that night, and we'll rough it, and then on to the next location.
Yeah. But that's awesome. I mean, you wake up and you get out of the car and you're just, it's free, and you're not in an office. You're able to take in nature and get inspired by that. So how did you decide, Adam, to get into landscape photography? Like, what was your path? Because normally artists have kind of a path, they have an inspiration. Where does yours come from?
It comes from doing a lot of other photography throughout the years while pursuing landscapes on the side as a passion, and I love that the most, but I never knew how to make money at that. So I did portrait work, I shot for bands, I went on tour with bands. My background was photo editing for two of the biggest companies in the world, and did that for 5.5 years. But doing all that never satisfied me as an artist, and so I always pushed that, and the goal was to start a business around something that I loved, and that was landscape photography, and that's how I got there. Yeah.
That's so cool. Well, and just so everybody out there knows too, I mean, maybe a month ago, you and I had never talked before. And now we're Zooming, we're chatting, we're hanging out. You're going to come to Minnesota and spend a few days, at the lab. So for those of you that are out there and listening, I mean, White House is here to help. We're here to build and to help you as a photographer prosper, to build relationships, and to have a great experience with all this. I mean, it truly, the products are amazing, the photography is amazing, but the relationships are really where it's at. And I think that in a very short amount of time, Adam and I have gotten to be pretty good friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I've enjoyed my time with you guys. I can feel that this company is like a family, and it's nice to be a part of that. And I, like you said, it's been a short amount of time, and I already feel it. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, we thank you. We're looking forward to your visit to Minnesota. Hopefully it's not too cold when you're there. And we appreciate you guys following along, and we hope you've enjoyed the interview, and we will be back with you soon.